Welcome, dear friends. Let me begin this session by asking you a simple question on the poll. So you see the poll question in front of you. Okay, and a very simple question is being asked. This is because we want to continue with our discussion on exergy of a finite body, finite source. हेलो हेलो हाँ बोला हाँ हो काय बरं बरं ठीक आहे ओके हां काय म्हटलं हां ओके ओके ठीक आहे चालेल Yes. हो हो Am I audible to you, all of you? Okay, thank you, Tejas. So I will be closing the poll question now. I'm waiting for the participants. There are some students who have the habit of joining late. So let me wait for a minute or so before I begin the session. See, the students are requested to join the lecture in time so that we can do justice to the theory portion, because there is a lot of things to be covered. And if you join late, then we need to begin the session late. And especially if there is a conceptual topic like exergy involved, then it is not good that you join midway, because then you won't follow anything. So make sure that you attend the classes in time. Okay. So I have not yet closed the poll, but let me, as you answer the poll, let me simultaneously tell you what is the plan of the lecture. The plan is to discuss a case of calculation of exergy for a finite source. Okay, if you remember our discussions which we had earlier, we talked about the calculation of exergy when the source was infinite. Okay, so we had actually discussed two cases. One is we had calculated the exergy input, okay, of heat when the heat is obtained from a infinite source. Okay, and then we talked about uh, the decrease in exergy when this heat is transferred to a finite temperature difference. So these two proofs we have done. The plan is to discuss what if the source is a finite source. So when we are saying the source is a finite source, I mean to stress that when there is a finite source of energy and when there is a heat which is taken from that source, okay, then that the temperature of the source will not remain constant. Okay. So in practical life, for example, one can view the flue gases, the products of combustion gases, okay, which are used for recovering the heat, okay, or heating some other fluid. Those gases can be considered as a finite source, wherein you know that when such gases are used in a heat exchanger for, let us say, for heating some water or some other fluid, then the temperature of that flue gases will drop. Okay. So this you need to understand that in real life we have a finite source. So in such a case, how do we do the exergy calculations? That would be more relevant. Okay. So that is the plan of today's lecture. And then we will move on to the one numerical which I actually started discussing in the last class. Okay. So let me close the poll now. We have 80 students who have come, okay, joined this class. Okay, I will should make sure that the others are marked absent for today. Okay. So of the 80 students who have participated in the poll, okay, whose record I have now, right? It is seen that 70% of the students have answered it correctly. Okay, 70% of the students have answered it correctly, whereas let me close the poll and share with you the results. Okay. I'm closing the poll now. Closing the poll. The poll is closed and I'm sharing the result. Okay, so as you see on the screen, what is seen is that there are two options given. So when the gas is cooled, option one is the entropy of the gas will decrease, okay, and the temperature will decrease. And the second option is the temperature will decrease, but the entropy will increase. Okay. So obviously, if you remember our discussions on entropy, we had said that uh, the entropy along with the heat flows the entropy. So if you have a system and if the system is losing heat, so along with the heat, the system is also losing the entropy. Okay. So there will be an entropy decrease when the heat is being lost by the system. Okay. So in this case, we are considering a gas, okay, which is losing the heat. So because when the gas is being cooled, obviously the gas is losing the heat to the surroundings. When the gas is being cooled, obviously when the heat is being rejected by the gas, the entropy of the gas will decrease. So the correct answer is the one which 71% of the students have given. Okay. So the other 30% who have answered it incorrectly, they should note that along with the heat flows the entropy. So when the heat is rejected out, when the heat flows out of the system, the entropy also flows out of the system. Okay. So when the gas is cooled, the entropy would decrease, right? And obviously the temperature would decrease in both the cases. So that is not a difficult case, right? So when the gas is cooled, the temperature is obviously to decrease, right? So let me now go to the discussion which we are planning to have today. That is the exergy calculations involving a finite source. So I'm closing this poll now. I'm hiding this poll. Okay, and I'm coming back to the whiteboard. So let me share the whiteboard with you now. Let me just close this and let me try. I have to make somebody as a okay. What I'll do is that yes. Just bear with me. I'm trying to share with you the screen. So I'm doing some trick over here. Okay, so the whiteboard is now seen, and I would be now starting the lecture. Okay. So let me write down what I'm going to discuss today. I'm going to actually okay, I'm going to discuss the exergy calculation, exergy of heat from a finite source, from a finite source. So when I'm saying the source is finite, okay, the meaning is the temperature of the source would not remain constant as the heat is being rejected. So when the heat is rejected by this finite source, so if the source is finite, okay, as compared to the ideal source, if the source is finite, then the temperature of the source would decrease, whereas the heat is rejected. Source would decrease when the heat is rejected. Okay, it is rejected. In such a scenario, how do we calculate the exergy of the heat? Right. So let me represent this process on a temperature entropy diagram. Temperature entropy diagram. And as a way of example, I'm assuming that the finite source is the products of combustion. They are known as flue gases. Flue gases are the at certain temperature T. Okay, T. These flue gases are at certain temperature T, and these flue gases are basically acting as a source of heat. So when they are rejecting the heat, the temperature, as the heat is rejected by the flue gases, the temperature of the flue gases will drop down. Okay, and let us say that initially the flue gases that initially at temperature T1, and after rejecting the heat, okay, after rejecting the heat, let us say the temperature becomes T2. Okay. If the mass of the flue gases is mfg, then what would be the heat transfer Q? Tell me the value. Tell me the expression for this. what is the source, what is the heat which is given by the source, which is a flue gas, which is at a temperature T1, okay, and as it rejects certain heat, its temperature becomes T2. So how much is the heat which is given by the finite source? Any answers? Any answers to this question, that how much is the heat which is given by this finite source? Okay, let me repeat the question. There is a source and the source is a finite source. The source is at a temperature T1, okay, and this source would reject the heat, means it will give the heat to some fluid, and let us say that the temperature of the source reduces from T1 to T2. T1 to T2. So what is the heat transferred? What is the expression for the heat which is transferred by these flue gases? Any answers? How much is the heat which is transferred by this finite source? How do you calculate that? No, Gargi. Assume that you don't know the concept of available energy and unavailable energy. Gargi. From the basic principles, there is a sensible cooling. It is a sensible cooling of the flue gases. So using that expression for sensible cooling, tell me how do we calculate the heat which is transferred by the flue gases? So when it is a sensible cooling, okay, I don't see the answers coming from your side. Let me write down the answers. The answer is it is equal to mass of flue gas, Cp of flue gas into T1 minus T2. T1 minus T2. Okay. So this is the heat which is transferred by the flue gases. That is the source of the heat. So we are interested in knowing that what is the corresponding exergy value of this, or what is the corresponding available energy of this heat. That is our question. Okay. We are interested in knowing what is the corresponding exergy value of this heat. Okay. So let me represent. Now I had asked you in the poll that what will happen to the entropy of the flue gases as it is rejecting the heat. Okay, so in this case, the source is rejecting the heat. So what will happen to the entropy of the source? That is entropy of the flue gases. So as most of you have answered it correctly, the entropy of the flue gases, or the entropy of the source, would decrease from the state 1 to the state 2. State 1 to the state 2. Okay, state 1 to the state 2. Now we are interested in finding, so what is the heat which is transferred during the process 1 to 2? During the process 1 to 2, the heat which is transferred by the finite source is Q12. Okay, heat transferred by finite source is Q12. And what would be that on the temperature entropy diagram? On the temperature entropy diagram, how do we represent that heat transferred by the finite source? On the temperature entropy diagram, how do we represent Q12 on temperature entropy diagram? Q12, how do we represent on the temperature entropy diagram? Anybody? Yeah, anybody? How do we represent the heat Q12 on the temperature entropy diagram? Tejas, Gargi. Yeah, correct. Anybody else? Anybody else? Gargi has answered this question. Anybody else? How do we represent the heat which is transferred during the process 1 to 2 on the temperature entropy diagram? So the heat which is transferred during the process 1 to 2 on the temperature entropy diagram is the area under the process 1 to 2, area under the process line 1 to 2. Okay. So this area under the process line 1 to 2 is the heat which is transferred. Is the heat which is transferred. Okay. So now we want to find the exergy of this. So the exergy of this. Now what we should do is that in order to calculate the exergy, what we should do is that we should assume that infinite number of Carnot engines are operating between 1 to 2. Okay, let us say that there is one Carnot engine which is operating between 1 and let us say 1 dash. Okay, and assume that the temperature difference T1 minus T1 dash is negligibly small. Okay, so if we assume that there is a Carnot engine which is operating between 1 and 1 dash, okay, then how much is the heat which this Carnot engine is getting? The total heat is Q12. So very small portion of the heat del Q, a small portion of the heat del Q would be sent to this Carnot engine. It would send to the Carnot engine, and this Carnot engine, if I want to calculate the exergy of this small del Q, if I want to calculate this exergy of small del Q, then I need to figure out how much is the heat with this Carnot engine would reject. Okay, and at what temperature. So obviously this Carnot engine, assume that this line which I am drawing, okay, this line, okay, one dash, okay, and let us say some AB, okay, so one dash AB, or let me call this as 2 dash, whatever, 2 dash, okay. So let us say that one dash AB, this is the the Carnot engine cycle of a Carnot engine which is accepting the heat at a constant temperature T1 is equal to T1 dash. T1 is equal to T1 dash, because T1 and T1 dash is the temperature difference. T1 minus T2 dash is a temperature difference which is negligibly small. Okay, and it is rejecting the heat at a dead state temperature T0. This Carnot engine is rejecting the heat at the dead state temperature T0. So if that is the case, then what is the exergy of this del Q? So the exergy of this del Q would be del Q 1 minus T0 by T1, 1 minus T0 by T1. Okay, this would be the exergy of the small del Q. Similarly, you can think of such infinite number of Carnot engines. Each receiving an elemental heat del Q, while it is operating between a constant temperatures of the source, which obviously will be different in every case, and the dead state temperature T0. In a way, if you think of such kind of infinite number of Carnot engines, okay, while on the diagram I am drawing finite number of Carnot engines, but in thought experiment we can consider this as an infinite number of strips. Which are operating between the source temperature and the dead state temperature. So in a way, okay, if this is your del W, which is the available energy for the elemental heat del Q, Okay, if I want to calculate the entire available energy or entire exergy, what I need to do is that I need to integrate this expression del Q 1 minus T naught by T, where the temperature of T changes from T1 to T2. Temperature of T changes from T1 to T2. Okay, so if I do this integration, what I get is that this is the integration of del Q minus the integration of del Q into T naught by T from 1 to 2, Okay, so if you solve this, what you'll get is you'll get Q, because this T naught is constant, T naught, and this what we'll get is 1 to 2 del Q by T, Well, this del Q by T, 1 to 2 del Q by T, is nothing but the entropy change of the gas. Okay, so this is in a way, so you will have a similar expression, whether it is a finite source or infinite source. You will have a similar expression as Q minus T naught delta S. Okay, what will change is the calculation of entropy change. Right? So how do you calculate the available energy when the source is finite source? So the expression remains the same, whether the source is a finite source or infinite source. The expression is the same. That is, it is the total heat which is transferred minus the product of the dead state temperature into the corresponding entropy change. What is different is the expression for delta S. So the expression for delta S, if you are considering an infinite source, is simply Q by T, is simply calculated as Q by T. Whereas if it is a finite source, as is the case which is being discussed, then the entropy change is calculated as integral of del Q by T from the initial state, let us say 1, to a final state, let us say 2. I hope this is clear to you. Is this clear or not clear? Or you want me to repeat this? Is this clear or you want me to repeat this? Whether the proof is clear to you? Okay, Deep Lakshmi is saying it is clear. Gargi is saying it is clear. There are 103 students who are present for today's lecture, of which 2 have answered that they have understood it. What about the remaining 101? Gunjan has understood. Tejas has understood. Ganesh wants me to repeat shortly. Okay. Sharavari has understood this. Saurabh has understood. Ananta has understood. Neha, for Neha it is clear. Okay. As a representative, for those who want a repeat revision, I will take the response from Ganesh Shikare and I will briefly repeat what I have said, and then you will move to the numerical. Okay. So thanks Saurabh, Ananta, Neha, Sharavari, etc. Okay, Gunjan. What we are talking about is, we are talking about the calculation of exergy of heat which is obtained from a finite source. Okay. Earlier we discussed the calculation of exergy of heat when the heat was obtained from an infinite source. So when the case is of a finite source, you would experience that there is a drop in the temperature. There is a drop in the temperature of the source. Okay, because the source is going to reject the heat, and because the source is a finite source of energy, So obviously the temperature of the finite source will drop down. Okay. So this is shown by the line 1 to 2. This is shown by the line 1 to 2 on a temperature entropy diagram. Right. Now, how do we calculate the exergy of this? Now you know that when we are considering the calculation of exergy from an infinite source, okay, at a obviously the source temperature was constant, and then we were assuming that we are doing a thought exercise. We were saying that the heat which is rejected by the finite source goes to a hypothetical engine, a theoretical engine, a Carnot engine, which is also operating at the source temperature, which is also operating at a source temperature. In a way, we are saying that there is a reversible heat transfer. Okay, and the heat which is rejected by the Carnot engine is obtained. The difference between the heat which is accepted by the Carnot engine and rejected by the Carnot engine, while it is operating between the source temperature T and the dead state temperature T naught, that difference is the work, which is maximum work obtainable, or which is, in other words, the available energy. Okay, so that it was very simple, right? Now in this case, because the source is a finite source, so if you run one single Carnot engine, then we will find that that heat transfer would be irreversible. That heat transfer would be irreversible. So we need to make sure that the heat transfer is reversible. Now, how do we make sure that the heat transfer is reversible? We can make this sure by harnessing infinite number of Carnot engines, each Carnot engine accepting an infinitesimally small heat transfer, but each one accepting that heat transfer at the source temperature, Okay, so let us call this as a general case when you are talking about one such infinitesimal engine. Okay, so one such infinitesimal engine, if I want to show here, that would be, let us say, at some temperature, general temperature T. Okay, and it would reject the heat at the dead state temperature T naught. Okay, the work output, the maximum work output of this infinitesimal heat transfer would be del Q 1 minus T naught by T. 1 minus T naught by T. Let us call this as del W. Okay. In this way, if you do the integration, the summation of all such del W, then it is, in a way, we are integrating this expression. Okay. And we are integrating this in between the limits 1 and 2. Okay. Between the limits 1 and 2. So if you integrate this, what you'll get is Q minus T naught integral of del Q by T. Okay, integral of del Q by T. This is what if you do the integration. Okay, but what is integral of del Q by T? Integral of del Q by T is the entropy change of this source. Entropy change of this source. Okay, in the case of gases as the source, it is the entropy change of the gases which are being cooled. Okay, as it is transferring the heat. So the expression for available energy is Q minus T naught delta S. Okay, which is similar to the expression which we had derived for the case when the source was an infinite source. Okay, which was again Q minus T naught delta S. Okay, what is the difference? The difference is in the calculation of entropy change of the source. Okay, I hope it is clear to you now. Ganesh, is this clear? Ganesh, is this clear now? Ganesh, correct? Is the concept clear now? Okay, thank you, Ganesh. So let us now move on to a numerical, okay, which is very interesting numerical, wherein we are talking about flue gases which are rejecting the heat. Okay, flue gases which are rejecting the heat. Now, these flue gases which are rejecting the heat, let us say that they are rejecting the heat to a water which is boiling at a constant temperature. Okay, in a boiler, right? So we are interested in knowing that what will be the exergy. Okay, what would be the exergy change, right? What would be the exergy change as the heat moves from a finite source to the working fluid which is at a lower temperature. Okay, so let me take that numerical so that the concept would be more clear to you. So take down this numerical now. I'm repeating this numerical to you. Make sure that you have with you your notebooks so that you can copy down the numerical. Okay, and I will be going slow, obviously, so that you understand it better. So in a steam boiler, in a steam boiler, I am also writing down the numerical. In a steam boiler, the hot gases, that is the flue gases from the furnace transfer the heat to water. Okay, the gases are cooled. The gases are cooled. The gases are cooled from 1100 degrees centigrade to 550 degrees centigrade. 550 degree centigrade, right? 550 degree centigrade. Let us say that the water is boiling. Water evaporates in the boiler. Evaporates in the boiler at 220 degree centigrade. 220 degree centigrade. It is also given that the specific heat of the gases, is 1.005 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Okay, and you know that the latent heat of water at 220 degrees centigrade, latent heat of water at 220 degrees centigrade is 1858.5 kilojoules per kg. Okay. Now let me ask you this question. There is no heat loss. There is no heat loss. Whether the heat transfer is reversible or irreversible. Whether the heat transfer is reversible or irreversible. We first answer this question before we solve this numerical. Whether the heat transfer is reversible or irreversible. Apart from Gargi, whether it is reversible or irreversible. Raju is saying it is irreversible. Whether the heat transfer is reversible or irreversible. There is no heat loss. Okay, there is no heat loss. The heat from the flue gases is being transferred to the water which is boiling. There is no heat loss, whether the heat transfer is reversible or irreversible. Sharvari is saying it is irreversible. Raju is saying it is irreversible. Pages is also saying it is irreversible. Anybody who feels that it is reversible? Okay. So the answer is it is irreversible because there is a finite temperature difference between the flue gases and between the flue gases and the water which is boiling. Okay. So first calculate calculate what is the heat which is being transferred, assuming 1 kg of water. First question is, assuming 1 kg of water, assuming 1 kg of water, assuming 1 kg of water, you calculate the heat which is being transferred and the mass of the flue gases. The first part of the question is, you calculate, assuming that it is 1 kg of water which is being boiled, assuming that 1 kg of water is being boiled, I want you to calculate the heat which is being transferred and the mass of flue gases, assuming that there is no heat loss. So the energy balance is the heat given by the finite source, which is nothing but the flue gases, is accepted by the heat is used for boiling the water. Okay, so the energy balance is mass of flue gases, specific heat of flue gases into the temperature of flue gases out minus, initial temperature Tg1 minus Tg2, okay, Tfg1 minus Tfg2, okay, is equal to mass of water into the latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so this is given to be 1 into, and this is equal to Q. This is the Q. So Q is equal to 1 into 1858.5. Okay, that is the Q, and this has to be equal to the mass of flue gases, which is unknown, Cp of flue gases, which is 1.005, and the delta T, which is 1100 minus 550. Okay, so this becomes our energy balance. So tell me the value of mass of flue gases. Tell me the value of mass of flue gases. Please calculate the value of mass of flue gases and tell me that. Whether the energy balance is understood? See, what we are saying is that there is a finite source. Okay, Gargi. You are expressing the answer in joules, I guess, Gargi. In kilojoules, it will be 3.36 kilojoules. Okay, Kunal is correct. Gargi is correct. Deep Lakshmi, Neha, everybody is correct. So the mass of flue gases is kgs per what? That is kgs. Okay, mass of flue gases would be in kgs, right? Mass of flue gases would be kgs, 3.36 kgs, right? Now you calculate the exergy of the finite source. You have got the mass of flue gases correct, right? Now you calculate the exergy of the finite source. So calculate the exergy of the finite source. Exergy of the gases. Okay, finite source means in this case the gases which are being cooled. Exergy of the gases which are being cooled. So let me represent this on the temperature entropy diagram. Temperature entropy diagram, and let me show the initial temperature of gas and the final temperature of gas. Okay, I assume the dead state temperature to be 300 Kelvin. Assume the dead state temperature to be 300 Kelvin. So the initial temperature is 1100 plus 273 Kelvin, and final temperature is 550 plus 273 Kelvin. Okay, and the dead state temperature is 300 Kelvin. Dead state temperature is 300 Kelvin. Okay, so this is, let us say, 1. This is 1. And this is 2. This is 2. This is T2. This is T1. Okay, and this area under this is the Q. The area under this will be Q. And let me use another pen. This portion which is shown by hatched line is the available energy or exergy. So the exergy of the flue gases, which is nothing but the finite source, is equal to, as we are shown, the expression is Q minus T naught delta S, which is remains the same, but in this case we need to calculate the entropy change of gases. Okay, so you already know the value of Q and T naught. T naught is 300 and Q is how much was that Q? Q is 1858.8. Okay, which is, we are already discussed this Q. Okay, Q calculations we are shown here. No, look at this slide. Sorry. Look at this slide. Q is equal to mCp delta T, which is 1.005 into 1100 minus 550 into mass of flue gases, which is 1 into 1858.5. Okay, so Q is 1858.5. Okay, so you need to calculate first the entropy change of the flue gases. So entropy change of the flue gases, if you calculate, you can calculate the exergy of the flue gases, is integral of del Q by T from 1 to 2, which is integral of mass of flue gas, specific heat of flue gas into del dt upon T from 1 to 2, which is mass is constant, flue gas mass is not going to change, Cp of flue gas into log to the base C T2 by T1. Okay, you calculate this value and tell me the answer. Calculate this value, mCp log to the base C T2 by T1. Log to the base C T2 by T1. Tell me calculate the value of entropy change of flue gases and tell me the answer. Calculate the entropy change of flue gases. Okay, Kunal has got the answer. Kunal, is it positive or negative? Kunal? Kunal, whether it is positive or negative? Okay, no, Kunal, it won't be positive. Think of it, we had said that entropy, the question which I had asked in the poll, what was that question? The poll question was, yeah, correct, Deepak is correct. The poll question was, when the heat is rejected by the flue gases, okay, the entropy would decrease, right? So if the entropy is decreasing, it means that the change in entropy would be negative. When the entropy is decreasing, it means that the change in entropy would be negative. So the answer would be negative and not positive, Kunal. Anybody who has the answer apart from Deep Lakshmi, Kunal and Gargi? Anybody who has got this answer? The answer apart from Kunal, Deep Lakshmi, Gargi. So the calculation, you will have to do the calculations. You don't just sit and be in the passive mode. You need to use the calculators. Gargi, what you are getting this? Wait for the exergy. We'll check the exergy. Exergy calculations we'll see later. I will just want others to calculate the entropy change in the gases. So the entropy change of the gases, as only 3 students have answered, I'm assuming that others are enjoying the show. Okay. So let me write down the answer. The entropy change could be, because T2 is, Tejas, no, Tejas, you are wrong. The T2 is 500 plus 550 plus 273. Okay, 550 plus 273. So that comes to be 823. 823. And T1 is 1100 plus 273. That comes as 1373. 1373. So T1 is 1373. T1 is 1373. Mass of the flue gases we are calculated, and Cp you know. So this comes as mass into Cp becomes 3.38, and ln 823 upon 1373. So this comes as minus 1.725 or whatever, 1.72. Okay. This Zai, your answer is wrong. If you are calculated the delta S, okay. I don't know what you are calculated. So 1.72 kilojoules per Kelvin would be the entropy change of the gas. So 1.72 minus 1.72 is the correct answer. Minus 1.72 is the correct answer. Okay. All right. Now you need to calculate the exergy. So the exergy value is Q minus T naught delta S. Okay. So this T naught delta S would take some value. So 300 into 1.72. You need to subtract this value from the total heat transfer. From the total heat transfer, 1858.5. Okay, so that would be something which would be the exergy of the gases. That would be the exergy of the gases. Xi, it won't be greater than heat. Please see, look at the diagram. Look at the diagram. We want to calculate the exergy. So exergy cannot be greater than Q. So this Q is the area under 1 to 2. Q is the area under 1 to 2. So this entire thing. Okay, 1, 2. If I want to name it as AB. So 1, 2, AB is the Q minus T naught delta S. T naught delta S is AB 34. T naught delta S is AB 34. Okay, because your delta S value, okay, numerical value now. Okay, the delta S numerical value is 1.72. So this is the delta S, and this is the area of rectangle. Okay, and this T naught is 300. So 300 into 1.72, this area has to be subtracted. Okay, the area marked by red hatched lines has to be subtracted from the area 1 to AB, 1 to AB. So if you subtract the hatched line, red hatched line from the total area 1 to AB, you would be left with the green hatched line, which is the exergy. And that exergy has to be 1858.5 minus 300 into 1.72. So Neha is giving me this answer. I guess this is correct. So check whether this answer is correct, which Neha has given me. Gargi is also giving me the same answer. Okay, so 1342.5. This is the exergy. Okay, now Zai has also got this correct. Roshan has also got it correct. Okay, Raju has also given me correct value. So, Jay. Okay. Sorry, Jay. Jay has got it correct. Roshan has got it correct. Jay, you are a boy or girl? Okay. Thank you, Jay. It's very difficult to figure out who is across the PC. Okay. Hopefully this lockdown will end and we would be seeing each other face to face. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Jay. So Kunal is saying from exergy formula is, see what that entropy, we should not convert it into negative as positive, Kunal. What is important is you need to look at it conceptually. Now when I'm saying delta S is negative. Okay, delta S is negative. So when I'm putting this delta S negative, okay, then actually my formula would be then Q minus T naught delta S, but delta S I should take the numerical value. Why I should take a numerical value? That is because you want to figure out what is the unavailable energy part. Okay, if you take delta S as negative, okay, you end up into a very interesting case where you have negative as positive, and then you would get an exergy value which is higher than the heat supply. Okay, are you getting this, Kunal? So the point is, what you need to first think at it conceptually and then look at the formulas, right? So we need to figure out that of the heat available, how much is the available energy, okay, and how much is the unavailable energy part. So we have figured out in this problem that of the total energy, which is 1858.5, right? Only 1342, okay, 1342 is the available part, and the remaining 516 is, as Gargi has calculated, is unavailable energy. Okay, unavailable energy, right? I hope the first part of the problem is clear. In the next class, that is tomorrow's class, we'll continue with this problem, and we would now figure out what would happen to this exergy when there is an irreversible heat transfer, because we have said that this is a numerical involving a irreversible heat transfer. Okay, so thanks all of you. Thanks Jay, Roshan, Raju, everybody here participating. I hope that others also participate. Okay, because that would be a really fun. If you give answers, then we get some classroom kind of feeling. If you don't answer, then we get a feeling that we are talking to an empty class, right? So it is always a good idea that you spend some time, some efforts in using your calculators, using your brains, and trying to understand the concepts here. Okay, so that would be a win-win situation both for the teacher as well as for the students. So thank you for being online. Have a good day.